Hi, I'm David Dobson. Welcome to Conversations. Today, my guest is Craig Toews. We will be discussing the role the Chamber of Commerce plays in a community. Craig is the president of the Abbotsford Chamber of Commerce. Prior to this role, Craig was at the University of the Fraser Valley for more than 3 decades in different leadership roles, including Vice President External. It's a great pleasure to have you with me today, Craig.
Nice to be here, David.
To start off, can you tell us what the Chamber of Commerce is?
Sure. It's a membership-based, business-focused organization, and we really kind of have tailored what we do around 3 pillars. We call them the ABCs. So one is advocacy. So we look at, what are the problems that businesses are facing, and we, speaking to businesses and understanding the current context with all the different forces that businesses are facing. And then we develop policy around that, and we consult with businesses, but how do we take that to both the local government, so the municipal issues, to the provincial government. We work very closely with the BC Chamber on the whole province-wide context. And then we even engage at the Canadian level at the Canadian conference. So we were in Ottawa last fall taking some policy with respect to flood infrastructure, which really we saw impacted our supply chain here in the Fraser Valley. And then secondly, benefits. This is where, members can increase their buying power by accessing all sorts of discounts and perks, health insurance plans. So some small companies don't have access to those. By joining the chamber, you can offer those to your employees. And then thirdly, which is the really fun piece, it's connecting. C is connect. We provide opportunities for networking, for businesses to exchange ideas. We bring in thought leaders. We have opportunities, public engagement with civic leaders, with mayor and council, for example. And then we have workshops and ways that businesses can really leverage their brand by being part of the chamber.
What role does the chamber plays in a community?
Yeah, thanks. So it's quite broad. I mean, our key focus is businesses, our business community, and the members that we serve. We're a member-based organization, but we see a much broader role in the community and the voice. We tout ourselves as being the voice of business, but we really are engaged in many other things in the community. So, for example, we engage in partnerships with the Abbotsford Community Foundation. We can talk about that a little bit, about the flood relief. We have partnerships with UFE, particularly the School of Business. We have partnerships with the newly founded Abbotsford Innovation Network. We have partnerships with the Fraser Valley Indo-Canadian Business Association. And so we do a lot of collaborative events together. The Abbotsford Downtown Business Association, very similar to us, but focused on the downtown. We have an MOA with them as well. So we can lean into issues together and really kind of have that collaboration opportunity right here in our community.
How does the chamber respond to important issues? Most recently, you have the flood or like labor shortages.
Yeah, certainly, the flood was an extreme event here in the Fraser Valley, as many experienced. And so, as I was just talking about those partnerships, one coalition we formed quite easily because the Abbotsford Community Foundation, the university, and the chamber already had a very secure partnership. And so when the flood happened, we stood up a fundraising portal very quickly together. And see, the Abbotsford Community Foundation operates in the not-for-profit world. And so we're trying to figure out how do we get money into the hands of farmers and businesses, right? Because they were really impacted in Sumas Prairie. So that's where the chamber came in. And so we created a business agreement between in the coalition so that the chamber could, that coalition raised close to $4.5 million. And amazing generosity locally. And we were getting donations one every 20 seconds when we started that portal. So you can imagine the volume we were dealing with. but the impact was great. And so we partnered with the chamber, who cut over $2 million in checks. We hand delivered a lot of them out to folks out in the Sumas Prairie. So the farmers and businesses were getting $5,000 and $10,000 checks who, this was next month's rent and just trying to put food on the table when they're in the midst of that disaster. Another example is a coalition, first ever coalition with the Downtown Business Association, Tourism, City of Abbotsford, and a number of others that came together during COVID to say, what can we do for our businesses? And we provided resources. We did a huge shop local campaign coming out of COVID because that was really important to get people, spending locally.
What is your role at the chamber?
Yeah, thanks. Well, it could be confusing, the nomenclature of president. Sounds like I might be the paid leader at the chamber, but the president is actually president of the board.
Okay.
And so I've served on the board now for 8 years, and I've had different roles on the board, but right now I'm the board chair, which we call president. The CEO is the hired top executive we're in a CEO search right now. That's the most important job that a board has to undergo. But as board chair, so we're providing strategic leadership. It's very relational. You're trying to develop those relationships on the board for a very engaging and respectful debate on various issues. There's the governance realm of making sure have good processes and structures to guide our work, and then staff support. So making sure we're engaged in succession planning and making sure we have a strong team and working towards, always striving towards a high functioning board. And so one of the things that a board engages in is strategic planning and asking the question around what's important. So measuring success is really important. Are we on track? Are we paying attention to the right things? And what does that look like? So how do we measure success? And so it's really important to have that search for continuous improvement. We also are engaging businesses, so that the connections around the board table all have a circle of influence in our community. So there's that relational component of leading a board as well, of what's our voice in the community and how does that work in our reputation. And one of the interesting things about the chamber in the last year, and this is really credit to Katerina's leadership, who was our CEO, she started the Company of Young Professionals. So this is really our strategy to engage the next generation of entrepreneurs, getting them involved in this business community and helping them to get started or to scale up, etc. And those are some of the things that I'm doing now. I find myself in an interesting position right now because I'm the board chair.
Yes.
But we've been without a CEO for 3 months, so I've been acting CEO as well and helping staff and keeping the operation moving forward and managing the search process.
Okay. What interested you in this position?
Well, I think my career at UFE, as you mentioned, over 3 decades, I was involved in IT and in campus planning and then finally external relations. So I really have a strong heart for our community, and so being involved in the chamber allowed me to engage with the business community on a much more deep level. And I really love the opportunity to engage with mayor and council and different community organizations. And yeah, it's just very satisfying and that was my real heart for UFE as well. In my external relations role was I really wanted UFE engaged in the community. So making connections between faculty and research opportunities and practicum for students. That's kind of the same ethos in terms of why I joined the chamber.
How do you engage with the community?
Yeah, so I've mentioned that already in a few ways. Sometimes it's serving the community in some of those partnerships and coalitions, the disaster relief. It does start with listening, right? Like what's going on in the community, talking to businesses, what's working, what's not working, having one-on-one meetings with business leaders, and anybody listening here, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll take you out for coffee and chat about what's going on in your world. And that advocacy work as well is connected to understanding what's going on here locally. And so engaging in the community in this way is about listening and connecting and connecting people together really around common issues and trying to find solutions for that.
Nice. Finally, Craig, do you have any advice for businesses who are not a member of their local Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, join up, get involved. There's so many groups and associations in your community here. I named a number of them, and the Chamber is a very strong network. As we're trying to support businesses who are facing, we're still in recovery mode from the pandemic. We had the flood issue that hit the Fraser Valley. We're now in recession with rising interest rates. You mentioned labor challenges earlier. We've hosted some lunch and learns around how businesses can find more creative ways to find employment, to fill their needs within their organization. And so these are ways that, the Chamber can really help. And it's exciting. Like I said, the Company of Young Professionals, so those young entrepreneurs are involved. So it's very a thriving and exciting young group that we're working with, and we're a fun bunch. So there's lots of benefits, and our goal is really to engage all businesses in the community, not just our members. Our members definitely have a very unique set of benefits when they join, but we want to engage all business. We want to know what's going on in your world and how we can help. So yeah, I think the Chamber is a very exciting world, and it's opens up your business to a whole new community that is right here.
Thank you for your time, Craig. Have a great rest of your day.
Well, thank you, David, for this opportunity. All the best.